Last night, the Jazz hosted the Cavaliers, and there was one play early on in the game that just irked me to no end. And what made it so much worse than it had to be was the way these Jazz announcers responded to it. I mean, these guys are such homers, it's not even funny at this point. And it's not just me, folks. A lot of people on Twitter feel the same way, although most of them are Cavs fans, so I do see where the bias lies. But guys, the Jazz announcers, I'm just going to show you why they suck, and this is not the first time they've said something stupid.
Really turned into a nice player, spending some time in the G League, doing his thing, and also the Jazz aren't able to.
So if you didn't catch what just happened, Ingles just elbows the living hell out of Jarrett Allen, and he's questioning why, like, what did you do that? And he's pretty level-headed for a guy that just got assaulted. And Ingles seems to be taunting him as well, wanting him to get agitated. I know Jazz fans are going to say, but he didn't do it intentionally, okay? He's not a dirty player. That argument goes right out of the window when you taunt afterwards. You don't even have remorse for what you did. You keep on agitating the guy that you just elbowed. And guess what, folks? You have the announcers encouraging this.
Well, if you're at a disadvantage, you got to bring something, right? You're right. You got to be careful, but yeah, I don't mind a little jawing a little bit, but you know, you've only got a certain amount of guys to roll with, so you got this one. Can't afford to get another one, Joe.
He was just given a technical foul, folks, and what he's referring to, the announcer, is they're short-handed. They only have 10 players that are eligible to play in this game, so they've reached so far down that this is their way of justifying this behavior. But it gets worse.
Right here you see the replay. Jarrett Allen coming on with that 50-50 ball and going into Joe. And honestly, Joe sends a message.
Yeah, he went right back at him, hit him about shoulder high, and said, let's play on.
Yeah.
No, you dimwits, that's not old school basketball, that's straight up assault. Okay, don't. This is so sad, man. I mean, this is not even the end of it though. They keep going with this nonsense. They keep having to call out what the referees are doing on the court, okay? Obviously, I get it. As a fan, you don't like to see referees call certain calls, but they take it to a whole other level where they're going to try to convince us now that this play right here is not a foul.
He may not have the size and height, but man, he plays so much bigger than he is. Doing a nice job with that ball in his hand.
I'll tell you, he had a big night in Toronto. He's helped when asked.
Right here. Jordan trying to get through the screen. And I don't, you know, I don't mind that, right? It wasn't like super blatant. Jordan Clarkson with 2 fouls now. But in some ways, you know, you've got to show that you come to play.
Yeah, you got to play some roughhouse basketball when you're short. I don't mean that as a pun. Short staffed,
yeah.
Short man, but also you're lacking size tonight.
And yes, folks, before you say anything, these are the same guys that years ago said this about LeBron James celebrating after a teammate of his blocked 2 shots in the same possession.
Look at LeBron, he's on the court. With no shoes, mind you. What is going on here? That's some disrespect right there. Please.
They later found out that LeBron signed away those shoes to give it to 2 little children that were fans of his. And of course, these guys wrote a crappy apology about it. And these guys, Golich and Wingo, I think is how I pronounced it. Yeah, those guys just destroyed them.
And then, of course, the apology out there, the clarification. I applaud your efforts working with kids and bring a smile to their faces. What I commented on was the surprise of you on the floor during play celebrating.
You mean along with the 3 or other 4 players that were on this team that were out there celebrating too?
Correct.
As well, and the other teams and other players that have done that as well, you mean those guys?
Selective outrage is my least favorite
I'm
thing.
so sorry you were disrespected by that.
And by the way, if
Holy
that happened, if that
smokes.
happened and Utah was up by 15, it wouldn't be mentioned.
Oh, I mean,
It wouldn't be mentioned.
wow.
It's funny he says this because that's exactly what happened recently. In a recent blowout win against the Pelicans, the Jazz bench went absolutely crazy. And just to show you that the internet has receipts, a Laker fan right here has keenly observed that the announcers, the very same ones from the Laker game, are singing a different tune.
Donovan Mitchell becoming a great playmaker, knows where his guys are. There's a hot bogey sighting. Knocks it down from the left corner.
Incoming. Yeah. The bench, air guitar and the spin. They're dancing.